Have you ever noticed how some people seem to treat you lightly? Not openly rude, but not respectful either. They interrupt you. They brush off your opinions. And somehow, it keeps happening. You start wondering, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? If this feels familiar, you're not alone. Many kind, thoughtful people experience this. And today's video isn't about pointing fingers at anyone. Not them, and not you. We're here to gently notice a small pattern that might change how you see yourself. One change that can shift everything. This video is for reflection, not diagnosis. Keep what feels right for you. By the end of this video, you might understand yourself a little better. And understand why respect can change so fast. Before we continue, think of one situation. One moment where you felt overlooked. And keep that in mind as we continue the video. Now, let's start with something that might feel very familiar to you. It may show up a lot in everyday life. For instance, there are times when you don't feel okay, yet you choose to stay silent. Or there are times when you don't agree at all, yet you nod anyway. Or you quietly reassure yourself that it's probably okay. Because speaking up feels risky. Your brain chooses safety over honesty. This is a normal coping response, especially if you fear conflict or rejection. But here's what quietly happens. Over time, people pick up on what you allow and how far they can go. Not because they are cruel. Because your repeated actions speak faster than your words. Silence becomes a signal. And over time, respect fades.
This is the part most
people miss. Not because it's hard to do, but because it feels uncomfortable. When you feel questioned, you rush to explain. When you feel ignored, you try harder to prove yourself. You tell yourself you're just being clear. Or being polite. Or being a good person. But underneath, there's something else. A quiet fear of being misunderstood. Or out of fear of not being accepted. And that's what others sense from you. Not your words, but your urgency. So here is the one thing to try. Just once. Pause instead of explaining. And let the silence stay for a moment. Not to punish anyone, and not to play games, but to stay with yourself. And this silence feels different. It's calm. It's grounded. And it doesn't ask for permission. That's when they notice it immediately. Because you're no longer chasing approval. Because you're standing firm in your own boundaries. And that's when respect begins to shift. Respect doesn't always come from how well you speak or how much you say. But respect changes through consistent, repeated signals. Small moments. Quiet choices. Like choosing not to laugh at jokes that hurt you. Or not saying yes when you mean no. These moments feel uncomfortable at first. Because you're not used to putting your own feelings first. You might worry about being disliked. Or being seen as difficult. But this is a truth that's rarely talked about. People adjust how they treat you based on how you treat yourself. When you stop shrinking yourself, the space around you feels it. You don't become colder. You don't become rude. You become clearer. And clarity often brings respect. If people have treated you lightly, it doesn't mean you lack value. It often means a pattern went unnoticed. The moment you realize this is where change truly begins. You don't need to change everything. Just one moment. One pause. One time you stay with yourself. And notice what shifts. So, which part of this felt most familiar to you? Remember, you're allowed to grow at your own pace. Thank you for being here. And take gentle care of yourself. We'll see you in the next video.
If this feels familiar, you're not alone.